myself, like in our container, like I grew so much more.
Welcome to the Start Somewhere podcast, the show that empowers women through mindset and manifestation. I'm your host, life and business mentor, Isabelle Prestia. And through my personal stories and insightful episodes, I help you fight fear, cultivate confidence, and feel empowered. If you're looking to live life on your terms, feel successful, and create abundance, you must first become a high-value woman. Luckily, this podcast shows you how to start, whether it's building a business, manifesting your dream partner, and becoming emotionally and financially fulfilled. So, are you ready to take the first step towards creating your reality? Let's start somewhere together.
How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. How are you?
Good. It's so good to see you.
Oh, I know. Likewise. It's like a blast from the past.
It is. Although the past was not that long ago, but still.
I know. It was the start of this year, wasn't it? Like January was our last call.
Yeah. When did we finish up? Like at the end of Jan, hey?
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's right. End of Jan. It feels like it's been
Wow.
so much longer.
Yeah. It has. Like it feels like time has gone by so quickly, but at the same time, like it just, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's just like long, but also really short at the same
I
time.
feel that it's like a weird void.
Yeah. That's it. That's the only way.
We'll just call it that. Tamra is a life and health coach, guiding women who feel less than or shrink themselves down to owning the fuck out of themselves. I love this bio, just got to say. She does this through feminine energy, period health, and fitness. And Tamra, you're also a previous client of mine. We worked together in my one-to-one private mentoring last year, and we just had a little catch up, and it's just so exciting to be back here staring at you. And I want to share, like you share this beautiful testimonial, which has melted my heart. And I just really felt inclined to share this with the listeners. You said, Isabelle is the one true guru who got me. Isabelle saw me and believed in me. And because of our coaching space, I have developed such ownership in my ability as a business owner that I didn't have when we started together. I trust myself, I don't second guess myself, and feel so empowered by my message that I am certain I'm going to be successful. I can't thank you enough for that. And I can't thank you enough for that. I'm so excited to have you here in the show today.
Oh my God, thank you. Just hearing that back, I was just like nodding along to everything because it has been that journey. And even though it was like, it felt like such a quick one, like at that, like our time together, but at the same time, like we were so immersed in it. And it's just, I feel like I've come out and I've just emerged and like risen from the ashes into myself, which feels amazing because I always knew that that was within me, but it was just that last little layer that I knew I needed to step out and step into myself even more so. So like I meant every word and I can't thank you enough.
Oh, you're so welcome. And it was just like such an amazing experience to work with you as well. We just like connected on such an awesome level. I'm curious, like what was that final shift, that final layer?
I think it like for me, it was just stepping into, oh, I know this. Like I know this for myself. I know this for me. And just that last layer of self-trust that I needed to have for myself, which really ingrained in me a belief of like, no, I am enough. And I know this because this was always something that I had in the back of my mind was a story that you're not enough. And it was ingrained in me since I was a little kid, and like it just stemmed and grew stronger. So I just really and have worked to change that belief and change that story and rewrite it. And so this was like, I feel like this container was like the last little bit to just really say to myself, hey, no, you've got this. You are enough. You know what you're doing. You are a business owner, and like stepping into that serious side of business. And I don't mean like not ever having fun in business, but like just taking it to that next layer of like, no, you're running a business. You know where you want to take it. You have big dreams, you have big goals, big aspirations. And it was just that for me.
It's like we always have that within us, And like, even for the listeners
Mm,
listening, like it's within you just as much as it is with yourself and myself. And it's just,
yeah.
it's finding what those expanders are. And, you know, a lot of the times it is stuff like mentoring and coaches, but then it's also podcasts and books. And sometimes it's just like a conversation with someone random. And it could, I find it could be like a
Mm,
conversation about something different. And it indirectly gives you like this spark. You're like, wait a minute, I've just had this brainwave.
yeah. Yeah, 100%. It was that, but like something that this is just such a like silly but like small example. I was crook at the start of the week, and so I just like had a good old day to myself, took a sick day, which I haven't done in such a long time, but so needed. Anyway, I'm planning a trip for my birthday later this year, and I want to do a ski trip, but I was on the Airbnb app and I was just looking at like there's a little top layer and it says ski mansions, castles, like ski trips if you want to go ski trips or like beach getaways or whatever. So anyway, I was just scrolling through and it got to mansion. I'm like, okay, cool, let's go here. And then some of the houses were priced at like, and this is all over the world. And like some of the houses for a week, you can stay at like it costs $203,000. $203,000 to stay at this mansion for the week. And I'm not at this level yet. But it's just like a little thing that just expanded me into like, like this is possible. This is just like something that people are doing. And like that before that, I didn't know that that was possible. So even if it is something as like small as that, that expands you and ignites you, it's like just use that and see where that takes you.
Yeah, no, and like that's not silly at all. Like I think it's those little
Yeah.
ones that they give you like the most oomph. Like we always put something on like a
Mm.
pedestal, and in fact, it can be the tiniest thing. So you're going to book a mansion?
Yeah. No.
One day.
The one that I was looking at, like, yeah, one day. The one that I was looking at, there was like some in Malibu or some in like Miami or something. They were like, you guys gotta just check out on the Airbnb app because, like,
Oh, what a
even if
vibe.
it's that, that'll expand you. It's just so cool. You can stay in castles in Italy or something. I know we're like so off topic right now, but
I'm here
really
for it
interesting.
though. You've inspired me.
Yeah, all about the travel.
Always, always. So I want to start with a few rapid fire questions just to kind of get the ball rolling with what I really want this conversation just to go in today. So firstly,
Yeah.
what is something you wish that you knew before starting your online business?
Just to trust my gut. I think I just really felt like I needed to understand what the successful coaches were doing or what their strategy was doing or the how to or whatever. But you really need to take it within you to really go within and say, hey, what do I want to speak about? What do I want to share? What is my clear end goal? And just trusting that and going forth with that. If I had trusted myself earlier, I feel like I wouldn't have tried to get that external validation or external like monetary value sooner. And instead, like that's not something that fulfilled me. Instead, like I just need to go within. It's like, okay, what is success to me? Define that for myself, and I just get to that fulfillment so much easier than I would like going for an external measure.
Self-trust is like the number one strategy, I feel.
Yeah, yeah,
I think like for
yeah.
all the women
I think
listening, oh, sorry, you go.
no, go.
I was going to say for all the women listening who have something or they want to start something, trust yourself to take that risk, to take that step.
Mm. Yeah, that's all they need. Like it's just that self leadership. Because I feel like I got stuck in a cycle last year, especially, and it was like you need to pump out more programs or more offerings or masterclasses or whatever it may be to earn more money. And
Mm.
that's not what I'm in business for. I'm in it for my own fulfillment and filling up my own cup. But even more importantly, or equally, it's to make impact and to really help and serve women. So is that pumping out more programs? No, because I don't want to just be that person. And that doesn't work for me right now. It's actually getting clear on what that journey looks like for the women that I want to help and just trusting that. So it was just about refining what was important to me, what was my true success, and taking action on that.
Powerful. This is like perfect for the second question I have for you. So, how has starting your coaching business, so more so helping other women to change their lives, how has that changed your life?
Mm. I I recently was reading into, I'll get to the answer in a
Have
second,
a
but I was
backstory.
reading my, yeah, we love a backstory. I was reading my birth chart a little while ago, and then
Oh
I
yeah.
just really got into it like in this last week.
Like
And
your
I
human
found
design.
that not human design, it was just around like my birth chart in like terms of the houses. So I
Oh, the
think I
star
can't,
signs.
I'm
Yeah.
not, yes, star signs.
Yeah.
And I was going into I the 10th or the 11th house, which rules your like career, business, and how you show up in that area. And so for me, it was Scorpio, I'm pretty sure. But the messaging behind it was, this is where your shadow side comes out. This
Mm.
is where like your kind of dark side comes out. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, interesting. And I could have taken it one or two ways. And the way that I want to take it is, yes, my business, to really bring the answer back into swing of things, I can let it just take hold of me in terms of like, let fear run the show, let my negative beliefs or limiting beliefs run the show. Like I'm not enough, or I can't do this, or I can't trust myself, etc., etc. Or I can choose to rewrite the story and say, no, this is mine. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm proving to myself that, I am enough. I am worthy of this. I am taking charge of my life. And so for me, it's my business, and starting my coaching business has changed my life because it's evolved me or enabled me to step into that shadow side of myself and really see what has been beneath the layers, heal that for myself, so then I can emerge as the teacher, leader, mentor that I need to be for other women to help change their lives. Like if you spoke to me 3 years ago, I was much more conservative. I was outwardly confident, not inwardly confident, not really knowing myself like properly, until now. Like I'm like, no, I know who I am at my core. And so who you see is who you get.
Mm.
And it's just been a whole journey into my own self-development and into coming into myself as a woman. And so yeah, it's just changed my life completely.
I can like see it in your eyes when you talk as well. It's just such a, I feel business. If you want the most extreme self-development, start a business.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And start a coaching or like a service-based business,
Service.
because, well, even like then, yeah, because your brand, like it's your personal brand, it's yourself, it's the extension of you. So you need to show up. And if you're not showing up authentically, well, that's going to show. That's going to show up, and you're going to feel that, and your audience is going to feel that.
Yeah.
So it's exactly that. Exactly that.
And I feel like this is kind of off topic, but kind of relates, especially in the early phases, which, I am yourself. A lot of the listeners, if they do have businesses as well, most likely are. It's like, it is more of that quote unquote, like grinding hustle culture where you do need to put in more work. And that can be more like inner work on yourself, right? Like not just the actual business building side. But then I think, I've been listening and I've been hearing this message a lot just in podcasts and conversations. It's like how no matter how hard it is right now, it's not going to be that hard forever. And to kind of treat your
Yeah.
business, like look at yourself as like, it's like a baby, like I heard this on a podcast, I forgot which one, but they were saying like, it's like a baby. And so you have to give it more love and care. Right. And then eventually think about when you have children and they're like 18, 19, they're adults, they can then look after the parent. So it's like a bit of a random example, like a bit of a random analogy, but that's something that's really helping me be like, okay, like it maybe does feel harder now. And like, maybe that is more of the shadow work, the personal growth, the money mindset work. And then of course the business side of things. But yeah, I'm not sure where I'm going with this whole tangent, but I feel like it kind of relates in a
No,
way.
I love it. Oh, 100%. I actually thought you were going to talk about the example of like, as a baby, they have no idea how to walk or how to be in the world or like how to be a human,
Oh, well,
right?
that as
But
well.
then yeah, but then we innately like grow into that, and we
Yeah.
trust our body. And yes, we have our environment, our parents, our guardians, how we're brought up and everything to like bring into the environment to help us to crawl, to walk, to become a human. But at the same time, like you are crawling yourself, you are walking yourself, you are doing all of that, you're pulling yourself up. And it's the same thing in business. You're going to teach yourself how to market yourself, how to build a client base, how to create your own program, how to share that, how to show up online, how to start a podcast, like whatever it may be. Like you have that innate power within you to do that. It's just that baby example too. So I love that.
It works. The baby example works, and it works with your first answer as well, like with
Yeah.
self-trust. And I think like a really comforting thing that I've experienced as well, and for the listeners and maybe even yourself, if you're in like, that quote where it's like the scariest place to be in is the same place as you were last year. I kind of totally butchered that, but like similar to that. And I
No,
think
yeah,
hearing that can kind of like make you uncomfortable to be like, well, shit, what if I am in the same position as last year? But I think something to remind yourself of is like, but is your mindset in the same place as last year? And I can realize, like, I'm realizing this today, how I handle my not, my not so great days. And what I mean by this, if when I'm not feeling my A+ high energy, like super vibrant self, and I'm feeling a little bit flat, I'm able to handle that so much better than how I would last year. And I think that's like a really cool piece as well. I don't know if that resonates with you, but like, I'm sure for some of the listeners, I think it's just really comforting.
Oh, 1,000%. Like, I know that for myself, like, even when I was sharing with you that my business, quote unquote, like, it did grow, but it didn't grow substantially. But myself, like in our container, like, I grew so much more. And I put such like a higher level on that because I know that my business is going to grow as a result. But because of me, like my mindset has grown, like how I, like you said, like how I react, or really rather than I respond now better to situations than I would have in the past. I treat myself more with compassion. Like I am my own best friend. And so it's like become to realize like not everything around you external to you, your business goals or success metrics or whatever that is, even though that's not growing, like you're growing, and that's what really matters.
And like eventually that, monetary, that materialistic success, it's gonna catch up. But it's like you can't
Yeah.
be, if you're like mentally unstable and you can't hold yourself and you're not confident, there's no way you're going to be able to run this super successful business. Like you need those traits. So it's like you got
Yeah.
to up level, and then just I don't know, it's in a timeline, like it's gonna catch up to you eventually. But it's that whole piece of like patience
Yeah.
and waiting. So
Yeah, I read actually it was my mom who sent me this quote and I loved it so much. I'm going to paraphrase it, but it was saying you may have this gift, you may have this idea, you may have like whatever it is, translate it to whatever it might be for you. And it might not be happening the way that you want to right now.
yeah.
It just may not be. And that's okay, because everything that you're going through right now, those obstacles, those learning experiences, life experiences, you are given that for a reason. Because if you didn't get to go through those life lessons, those obstacles, those learning experiences, you wouldn't be able to be successful the way that you're actually meant to be in your business or in your career, the way if you just got that now, because you didn't have that growth, you didn't have that lesson, you didn't have that mindset perspective to be able to handle what is coming for you later in life. So maybe what you're going through right now is actually fueling you for your success, but we're often not seeing it that way, myself included, because it's like, oh, we're just seeing it's not happening right now. But we don't see all the moving parts behind the scenes that's going on to actually enable your success. And so I like to think of it like myself last year. I would have killed, like, I wanted more clients, more money, all the things. Was I in a place to hold it? Like, was my human able to hold it? Probably not, because I was so focused on, I just want more clients, I just want more money, blah, blah, blah. Was I actually in a position ready to like serve them properly? Not to the capacity that I really wanted to. Now, am I in a point? Yes, because I've created the foundations, I've created the back end, I've learned a lot more and experienced a lot more. So I'm like, cool, I'm ready to hold this. My nervous system is ready to hold it. I feel safe enough to hold it. And so it was going through that mindset shift for me last year. That's like, cool, I'm ready now. Like, come at me, sort of thing. But I'm not relying on making more clients, more money for me to feel ready. I'm ready now myself, with or without clients, with or without money.
Oh, this is like the coolest thing to hear you say. Like, I'm so proud, and it's so cool to see that transition. And I loved how you mentioned as well, specifically the nervous system and who you are as a human. And I think, for yourself and I, and a lot of service-based businesses, if you as a human can't hold those things, if you have, especially if you haven't gone through, not that you need to go through like unfortunate things, but have those life lessons, and also that like emotional intelligence and emotional awareness, I think it just creates such a different service that you're providing, therefore like elevates your business as well in a way. Hi ladies, I had to jump in here really quickly to share an exclusive announcement I'm so beyond excited about, and that is on the free masterclass I'm going to be hosting in May. Are you tired of feeling stuck in your business and not seeing the results you desire? Do you struggle with a scarcity mindset, lack confidence, and have limiting beliefs that hold you back from achieving your goals and manifesting abundance? If you're nodding your head and ready to level up your life, you won't want to miss my upcoming free masterclass. This is called How I Used Feminine Branding to Build an 11K per week business. This is going to be a 90-minute masterclass where I will be exposing the pillars of glowing success every high-value woman must know. Ladies, if you are a fan of the podcast, whether you've liked one or many episodes, this is the space that you 1000% need to be in. This is where I'm going to be sharing more on my personal journey of using feminine branding to build a successful business. So in this free masterclass, this is for the woman who is stuck in a scarcity mindset, has low momentum and self-trust, and is time poor, feeling unsure how to start. In the 90-minute class, you will crack the codes and find out how to harness the magnetic feminine energy that you don't even realize is blocked. You're going to also learn how to remove subconscious blocks that are stopping your abundance from flooding in, and how to find ultimate freedom and live life on your terms despite your current lifestyle. And I am going to be sharing a bonus announcement exclusive in the masterclass first. So if you enjoy these episodes, then you are not going to want to miss out on attending this free 90-minute masterclass. If so, join me live on Monday, May 15th at 4 p.m. ACST. That's Adelaide, South Australia time zone. So we are 30 minutes behind the rest of the east coast of Australia. So 30 minutes behind Queensland, Sydney, and Melbourne, just for reference there. The recording will be available, but only for a short number of days. So I can't keep this out for long. For free, the content I spill is exclusive and high value for the high value woman. So do not wait, ladies. Register now for free by clicking the link in the show notes. Let's unlock your inner power and create the success and abundance you deserve this 2023. See you live on Monday, the 15th of May at 4 p.m.
And that's actually something, like, it's interesting. I don't know how you feel about this, but it was definitely a story for me. Like, I felt like I didn't go through enough to be able to share a really powerful message. And so it was like that thing of, no, you just need to rewrite it. Like, you are your own story, you are your own message, and like creating that from that. Yeah, I don't know how you resonate with that,
Yeah,
but
no,
I just
I
thought I
feel
needed to share.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that will resonate as well for the other women listening. It's like you don't need to go through a breakdown to have life-changing story. And if anything, like
Yeah.
I'm all about being positive, which I'm sure you are as well. And it's like, how can we just turn whatever we have now into something great? And maybe you haven't had this like tragic or even this minor trauma happen to you. That may just make you extremely relatable to so many other women. Therefore, you've got a community going there. Like, people can see themselves in you. And like, that's a big part of
Yeah.
business. Like, a lot of my podcast listeners, I'm sure you get the same with your community. It's like, they say they feel like I'm their friend and I'm saying stuff straight out of their mind. And it's like, because there's that relatability piece, because I'm
Yeah.
just like everybody else, like there's not that high.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, just like look at your own life. And if you do want to start a business or a service, like don't think you need to have this like extravagant story and this and that. Like, you're just someone who has a passion.
Exactly. Exactly. I was listening, I heard this years ago, and it was saying to be like a true leader, like you need to work out, I'm going to completely butcher this, like you're not at the top of the pyramid, you're at the bottom of the pyramid, and you're leading everyone else up, like you're bringing everyone else forward. It's because you are part of them, but they're also part of you. So it's just that minor switch. It's like, you're not at the top. Like, yes, you might be leading the way, but you're not at the top of it. You're in with your community.
Yes. Oh, I love that. It's like, yeah, that whole piece of leadership. And I feel this as well whenever I have client coaching calls, and I'm the coach, I walk away from those sessions learning something about myself
Yeah.
based on what my clients have said. And yet again, whether it's directly or indirectly, but I leave all my coaching calls honestly feeling like I've grown every single time. And
Yeah.
I think it's because, yeah, it's not that piece of like authoritative in a way. And, you know, we'll get into the whole like masculine, feminine energy conversation because I feel that really resonates with this. But kind of a segue, it's like as the coach, you know, you'll get this as well. You do have more of that masculine kind of role, but then you are wanting to create the feminine to kind of flow. So I think looking at it more through that lens. And also, I was reading this book actually by Jay Shetty, and he talks a lot about the concept of gurus. And it's like, it's the same thing where there's like, not necessarily a teacher and a student where the teacher is so much higher than the student. It's more so this guru concept where you're equal. And yeah, somebody does hold some of the knowledge, but that other person holds a lot of other knowledge as well. And kind of like what I mentioned with my coaching space is like, it's like this, you know, this really beautiful, like, you know, that like infinity sign, like it's just like this give and take of different pieces of knowledge. So I think it's just like, that's just such a lighter approach and like a lighter refreshing perspective to coaching and self-investing, because I feel like, I don't know, maybe is it deemed as like really daunting for somebody who hasn't done it before, but then, you know, like you and I, it's not like that at all.
No, like I remember the first time that I invested in myself properly was in one, it was for a certification for the life coaching certification, but at the second one it was more like a personal one. So it was a really like not intro into feminine energy, but it was like a whole sensuality course, like coming into yourself as a woman, deep trauma healing and all the rest of it. And I was quite nervous to start off with. I was like, oh, I don't know what to expect or this or that. But it just ended up being like often, and I've looked back on my life and reflected, the most uncomfortable moments that I felt like initially have been the most beautiful, most growth, most like, oh my God, I've loved that so much moments in my life.
I mean, that's what your podcast is all about as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly. Getting comfortable in, yeah, getting comfortable into being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Jeez.
um
It trips up on her own podcast title.
it happens to the best of us. It makes you relatable, don't stress.
100%. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I
So
remember my mentor in, well, one of my mentors in year 11, he told me that like you just need to get comfortable being uncomfortable, and it just stuck with me for that. Like the whole just, well, up until like now, it's like one of my mantras. It's like, yep, okay, cool. I'm uncomfortable with it. It makes me nervous. I'm going to go do it. So like even next week, I have booked a heels class for myself, and I've asked some friends if they want to come, they want to come. And I'm nervous about that, but I'm going to go by myself. And it's just something that I've like, I don't know, I've gone to before. It's like made me uncomfortable, but at the same time, after the class, it's been like the best thing I've ever done. And like, there's a bit of a backstory. I used to dance in primary school, and I forgot my moves on stage. And like, ever since then, like that was the biggest point where I've like failed in life. And so from then, it's been that story of you're not enough. You're not a dancer. Like you're like, and I just felt like I haven't been able to get into myself in that aspect. And I feel like I'm grown into myself sensually, but at the same point, like that's a class that makes me really uncomfortable, and I know I'm going to grow as a person even if I do it by myself. It's, yeah, I'm excited for it.
oh, I'm excited for you as well and to hear how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm saying it like in certain places. I've said it to a few friends, so it's like I can't cancel. I'm holding myself accountable, like I'm doing it.
Didn't you say it on your podcast? On
Yeah,
your
I did.
episode? Yeah, I heard that. So it's out there in the world.
It is out there. There will be people holding me accountable, and
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
We've now got the whole community here holding you accountable. So
Yeah, exactly. Message me on Tuesday night.
so you touched on sensual living, sensual embodiment, sensual energy. What does embodying
Yeah.
that? So you've shared it, it's through doing your heels class, for example. What are some other ways where you
Yeah.
do embody this? And I guess also for the woman listening to this right now, so she can get some ideas of how she can start stepping out into this as well.
Perfect. I love this. So sensual side, your sensual side, all that means is like being really present with who you are and your senses. So how
Mm.
you're seeing yourself and what you're seeing around you, how you're hearing yourself and what you're hearing around you, how you're feeling on the inside and what you're feeling on the outside as well. So the way that I like to start like being sensual with myself is like, for example, it looks totally different every single day and at different points. But for me this morning, because I'm really valuing rest at the minute, I just had a really slow morning, just super slow, slept in, just like really became present with what I wanted. So I was reading a book and I was immersed in the book. I was then like immerse myself in the shower or like putting lotion on myself and then like sensually eating. So like really think of sensual being like super present with yourself and immersing in your actions, immersing in what you're doing. And so that could look like immersing yourself in Pilates or yoga or going outside for a walk or like putting on a sexy piece of lingerie or putting on some sexy moisturizer or something, like just really going slow and being present with yourself. Sensuality also means like self-pleasuring yourself. And sometimes this is so uncomfortable for women because there's a lot of guilt, shame,
Mm.
judgment surrounding it. But I do encourage you to step into that because and that was for me too, because I was never a sensual person. It was never talked about. It was just something that I just avoided.
In terms of self-pleasure
But when into
or in
self-pleasure,
general?
sensuality,
Oh,
all the
yeah,
things, all the things.
yeah.
And so because I grew up in a very traditional Italian family, Catholic family, so it was
I
just like
hear.
very traditional and like not talked about. Now it's actually quite open, but it was just that sort of
Mm.
push and that like you had to spin the wheel for it to actually start. But now it's like actually something that's really comfortable. But I know for a lot of women, this is going to relate to you, whether you're in business or whether you're in career, whatever you're doing. This is something that is uncomfortable for us. And when we move into that, we awaken a side of ourselves that has been dormant or that hasn't been like properly wanting to come out. When
Mm.
that comes out, you unleash another level of confidence within yourself and self-trust within yourself. And you're like, cool, I've got this backbone. I've got this like deep inner knowing where I see myself, I know myself, I trust myself. So I can go out and do whatever I want in the world. So defining what sensual means to you is going to be the one thing. And then coming up with different like activities can look and you can pick another thing for that. So like creating a sensual playlist or baking can be sensual for yourself or
Mm.
self-pleasure can be sensual for yourself.
Mm. Would you say it's a lot of these like feminine energy, traits? So you're doing the whole aspect of
Mm.
play and resting and, making yourself feel good, having
Yeah.
those showers and the nice, body lotions like you shared and the lingerie. It really is those like feminine practices.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And we can weave that into
Mm.
what we're doing. So, for example, for work, I really try to bring into, or I try to integrate feminine energy into how I'm working. So, being sensual is feeling lit up from the inside out. So I've got like beautiful crystals on my desk, or I've got like a nice warm water, or like something nice around me, or I'm putting music on in the background, or I've got the doors open so I can hear the birds singing, or something like that. So I'm creating a sensual environment that really brings into my feminine energy. I'm like, cool, I'm tapped in that, but I'm also working. So I'm also dancing with my masculine at the same time too.
Oh, there's like so many avenues I want to go down right now. I just want to touch on how you said the
Yeah,
masculine.
me too.
Like my mind, I just got so many questions for you. I just know the listeners will love this as well, but I want to touch on masculine briefly and we'll circle back
Okay.
around. So as a
Yeah.
woman, and this is like for my selfish curiosity as well. So as a woman,
Mhm.
should we be in like a, quote unquote, should 50-50 masculine, feminine energy? Or as a woman, should we dance and play more in the fem side? And then have the masculine, like, I don't know, 30% of our life? Like, what is the deal with that?
Yeah. There's no set equation. It's just gonna be this is such
That's
like a
my
political
that's my
answer. Like
logical
I know.
brain.
Right, right. And like there's not going to be a set equation. That was something that I really needed to like, but I'm working. So shouldn't I be
Yeah, I'm just
masculine? Like shouldn't I
curious.
be more like this? Exactly. So there is going to be a point where say for example for work or you're in a meeting or whatever you're doing that like requires you to be a bit more dominant in your masculine, then that might be like 80-20. You can still come at it with the intention of being feminine. So coming at it with like a feminine confidence or a feminine openness or feminine generosity or kindness or whatever that might be. But you might be operating and doing from your masculine. But then when you're coming home, you're going to transition and dance into your feminine energy. So it's really going to play into what situation you're in. So if you're in a meeting, or like, for example, for me right now, I know that I'm in my feminine because I've created the intentions, like I'm communicating from my feminine. I know I'm getting the downloads. I know I've set my space up to be in the feminine. The way that I like to think about it too is you create the masculine structure. So for example, I've created a whole content plan for the next month with like little titles. So I'm like, okay, Fridays are going to be my mini story days. Sundays are going to be my personal expression days. Mondays are going to be this is my topic days. But then within that, I can move and change it. I can create my own reels out of it. I can create a little topic out of it. That's my feminine flow within my masculine structure of this is the plan that I want to do, that I want to take out. This is when I'm launching this. This is when I want this event to be. So that's that structure, and I'm creating that structure so my feminine can dance. I know that when I don't have a set plan, a set structure, my feminine is also I'm scattered and I'm chaotic because I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck to focus on right now. And I'm like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I don't know what. So I'm like, cool. What's the end goal? Creating that structure. What's that end goal? What I want to do, and then bring it backwards, like work backwards. Are you creating a plan? Are you creating an organizational plan? What do you need to get done? What are the to-dos? And then your feminine's like, oh my God, I can breathe. I know what I need to do. I'm clear. I can just flow with this. All right, sweet. I'm working on my marketing in the morning. I'm working on pitching myself to brands in the afternoon. Like that's how I would like to think of it. I hope that answers your question, by the way.
No, that's like such a perfect representation, even like for myself. So what I'm hearing is, you whatever it is that you're doing in your life, whether that is more of a masculine thing, like hosting a meeting or whatever, or more on the femme side, like baking a cake, just to be like real stereotypical. It's like bringing those components of femme energy into whatever it is that you're doing. I love the example you shared, like it's so simple of when you're working, it's, creating the space, having, the beautiful drink, the windows open, sunlight. Like I'm really thinking of myself as well. And that's exactly what I do. And so I didn't actually realize that was me calling in more of my femme energy whilst I am being in my masculine, creating systems and strategies and all the things.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's just thinking about your intention of like what you're coming to this task with and how you're feeling, how you're doing a certain thing. So if I'm feeling flat, not creative, uninspired, I'm like, cool, I'm kind of operating in my masculine, but sort of my uninspired masculine. And it's not going to feed both of those things. I'm not good in my feminine and I'm not good in my masculine. So what can I do about it? All right, take a break, go for a walk, set myself up, just rejig a few things. And it's like, cool, I'm feeling more in flow. I'm feeling more in pleasure. I'm feeling more like me. I'm feeling more lit up. It's like, okay, I can come back to this task and I'm feeling more alive. I'm feeling like I'm in the zone and I'm immersed. That's how you want to think of it too.
I love that. It's that intention piece behind it.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
I like
That's all it is.
A big theme of what I'm really focusing on right now, ironically enough, is focus and, not just doing busy work and actually focusing on productive tasks. And, even yesterday I was kind of like what you shared. I didn't realize it was that more uninspired, low masculine kind of energy. And I just couldn't get in the flow. I couldn't focus. Like I was just jumping from room to room. And so I was like, I just need a break. So I just went out the house, went for a walk. Actually went and got my nails done as well at one point. I just like needed that reset to come back into my femme, into my flow. Then I could come back home and be creative. So yeah, but like it's funny, the old me, like, and by old me I mean 12 months ago, I would just force myself to still do the thing and push and push and push, and then it just like it would take me 10 times as long. It wouldn't be nearly as good as what I could do, and I would just feel like overworked. But I would be like, it's bad to rest, like it's bad to take that time off.
Yes, exactly. I was actually speaking about this very thing with a girlfriend, and we were very much in this element. It's like we had to rejig it for ourselves and rewrite it for ourselves. It's like, actually, no, would we prefer to be overworked, like you said, anxious about getting everything done and ticking off the things in the to-do list? Or would we rather get 7 out of the 10 things done, feeling more alive, feeling more at peace with ourselves, and like more me, rather than, oh my God, I got 10 out of 10 things done, but I'm feeling like a shit human. I haven't got, like, it's just like, what's the intention? How do you want to actually end your day and finish your space? Like, how do you want to actually live your life? It's like, do you want to rush it, or do you want to feel more in flow? And so even if you might not get like those things done, you're still more productive because you're moving the needle, because you're taking care of your human
Yes.
in the element of it too.
I love this so, so, so much. It's like, would you rather finish your work day having done all the things, but you haven't showered, you haven't have got any steps in,
Yeah.
you've just been eating shit food, you've had, 10 coffees to get you by? Or would you rather feel healthy and have beautiful health and wellness and be more productive in what you've achieved? Rest is like such a big
Yeah.
theme. I think we shared this on, I'll put the link as well in the show notes, but we did an episode on your podcast. And I think this is where I think you may have asked me my word. Was this in a coaching call?
Yes.
Maybe it was the
Yes. No, no. I
podcast.
asked you your word on the episode. Yeah.
Yeah. And my word for the year is lush. And it's all about rest, essentially. And I want to,
Yeah.
I want to circle back how you said are you more prioritizing rest as well at the moment in your life, or how you were on Monday, for example, because you were unwell?
Yeah. Yeah. So I've added, I think my word for the year was like clean, but then
Yes.
I've also
Ooh.
added glow and expand.
Oh, I
So
love
it's
those
like
things.
within those, it's so good, right? And within those three, really the intention is to cut it back,
Mhm.
to focus on myself, to really prioritize myself. Because I noticed last year I was prioritizing work, I was prioritizing like external metrics, like just to move full time into my
Mm.
business, yada, yada, yada. But
Yep.
was I really enjoying my time? No, no.
Mm.
So this year, I'm like, all right, I'm focusing on life. I'm focusing on me. I'm focusing my energy, and I'm focusing on life. And I'm having the best time in the midst of building my business too. I'm enjoying my journey in the midst of like achieving my goals as well. So
Mm.
it's like, I actually can't remember your question, by the way, but I'm like going on a tangent. So it's like more so like, how do you want to end up, like, how do you want to live your life, and what do you want to, like, it's coming back to that intention piece of like resting, recovering, but also taking care of your human and like your basic needs. But then they're not basic needs. Like, I feel like the basic needs are so underrated nowadays too.
I agree. And I feel this is just such more of a shift. Like, I don't know about you, but the whole kind of girl boss culture is very masculine in a way as well. And it's like, what's up with
Mm,
that? Like, we do want to flow, and also while still, pursuing our passions, our purpose, creating a business, but kind of getting off topic here. It's like, yeah, that focus of rest. The reason I ask is because like it's a big focus in my life. And I'm really just learning how to, like you said, it's like this basic need. It's such simple things, such as making sure
mm,
I'm getting 8 hours of sleep because that's how I feel my best. And,
yeah.
as well, even like exercising, like I love exercising. I've never really had an issue with motivation, which is like the complete opposite, I guess, of people. But I was almost putting too much energy into exercising. And I was like, I just want to tone it
Yeah.
back. Like 4 workouts a week is like that is so fine. And I can have more energy
Yeah.
towards other things. So, being slow there and allowing myself to enjoy like chocolate and like desserts and stuff without the guilt, thinking that I need to go, work out and train, and just having time off and just seeing friends and like switching off. And yeah, it's just, I'm just really entering this whole,
Mm,
I call like my soft girl era. I'm actually
yes.
doing an episode on the podcast as well, like talking all about this. But yeah, it's just like, it's such a transition I'm in right now. It's so like delicate, but beautiful, but like empowering.
I love yeah, exactly. It's those beautiful elements all together. And like, I want to ask, how do you feel in your business in the midst of that too?
Mm. I feel so much more in control, more ease, more flow, more structure. I'm able just to get things done in like a quarter of
Mm,
the time than what it would take me, because I just have so much space in my mind and in my life. Wow, I actually haven't realized that. Like little things that would take me forever. And like coming back to my thing of focus, I'm just like, if I'm getting off topic, or, you probably get this as well, when we think of an idea, we find this and something else pops in our mind and we want to go to Canva, then we do this and we do that, and a
mm,
DM comes through on Instagram. I'm just like canceling all the, like, I'm just, all noise in my life is just gone.
yes.
And I'm just like, the task I'm doing, I'm like, is this aligned towards my goal? No? Okay, you're off
Yeah.
topic as well. Like, go back here. And I'm just so easy able to like pull myself in. And it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So interesting, isn't it? Like when you take care of yourself first, everything else flows within, because I have put my business on a pedestal first. Like my business is my number one. Like this is but you have to ask yourself, what are you actually doing this for?
Yeah.
Like, is it for freedom? Is it for impact? Is it to be there for your family and be present with your family? And you need to ask yourself, well, am I doing that now? No? Cool. That's when we can rejig it and we can change it. And like you said, clean everything up, get rid of the noise,
Clean.
declutter, and just like focus.
And you know what else I've been doing? For the past 2 weeks, as we're recording this as well for the listeners, the past 2 weeks, well, it's been 1 week now, one more week to go. I have completely logged out of Instagram and just like gotten rid of it in my life. I know, right? I'm just
Yeah.
like obsessed with Instagram, always posting, always on it. But I just had this
Yeah.
conversation with a friend and we were just discussing how Instagram is such a void. And like, this is more for me as well for my life. It's just, it was so much of my busy work and all this energy I was putting into content and this and that. Like, I just thought, I'm like, surely I can be getting better results if I was put this energy somewhere else. I'm like, I'm just going to take Instagram out of my life for a couple of weeks and just see what happens. And honestly, it's been a week today as we're recording this, and I don't want to go back on the app. Like, I just have no desire to post and to do anything. And it's made me just really value just being more low key and like almost a sense of like history and like not needing to let everybody in know on my, my breakfast and my gym routine. And, I'm saying this because I'm somebody who had been doing this consistently for 3 years. Like I've been posting every day on Instagram for like as long as I can fucking remember. So I'm just like, it's like I've been on this hamster wheel and I've taken a step off, but it's still fucking rolling. Like it's still moving, but I'm just like, oh, I can breathe. And it's just given me such a
Yeah.
different perspective and lens. And I just think is, the $1 million version me who runs this business, is she spending all her time on Instagram stories? Probably not. It's
Yeah.
probably more towards other things like Facebook ads and email marketing and, spending just more time on herself. And yeah, it's just, and that comes back to my whole focus, lush, get rid of the noise, no distractions, focus. Like it all is falling into place, but it hasn't felt like that for such a long time. But it's like now eventually, very slowly, like the pieces are coming together. So it's interesting.
That's so interesting. I love that for you. That's exciting.
Thank you. Yeah. So we'll see how I go a week from now. I kind of just want to go longer, but then of course it's like a lot of my business is on Instagram. So if I do like I have I'll be so honest. I have had to check DMs once purely based on confirming a podcast interview. But like even today, like I texted you and I had another interview before and I emailed her. I'm like, how can I avoid going on this app? And it's great. If anyone's thinking about doing it, do it.
Yeah. Well, it's just that thing as well. Like I've been thinking about that too. Like I'm not in a place like I don't want to log out just yet, but it's like I've been talking to a few people around like how can I be proactive in my business? So I'm like I'm getting clients in without needing to get clients in, if that makes sense. It's like I'm not just throwing spaghetti on the wall, like putting up content stuff and everything. I'm like, no, I know that this is going to work, but it doesn't rely on Instagram or TikTok or anything like that. So it's like resourcing and just like thinking outside the box a little bit of like, what's a different strategy that I can use?
I love that. It's being more intentional. And that's exactly where my head is at as well. And I just feel as well what I've heard and just we're going on such a tangent here, but it still relates, like just where the world is going with like technology and stuff. Like I really feel Instagram is gonna die at one point. Like I just have a feeling, I mean, not like tomorrow or next year, but like I feel at some point, and I hear a lot of like business owners as well, like a lot of coaches. Like I think Monica said this on her podcast a while ago. As if like we're friends, like just first name basis. She was saying that, as well, like she's noticed the drop. And ever since hearing that, I've noticed the drop. And now I'm not on Instagram. Like if someone told me a month ago, like, yeah, Isabelle, you're going to not want to go on Instagram for 2 weeks, I'd be like, what the actual fuck? Like, what do you mean? Like, that's what so much of my life is. But like, here we are. So I just feel for business owners out there, or if you're wanting to start a business, don't rely just on Instagram. Like, just don't. There's more avenues out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and exactly that. Like like with what Monica was saying, it's just that thing of like going on platforms that you actually own. So creating a really strong email marketing list,
Emails.
or creating a podcast, or I don't know if YouTube is good, but like
I
maybe
feel
exploring
YouTube's been
that
like OG for ages though.
solid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. YouTube like is reliable, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at us. Just like, yeah, confirming.
But yeah, it's so
But
true. I'm curious, like what are some other strategies that you're now exploring then?
well, I have been, so like I was saying before, I've been pitching myself to different brands.
Mhm.
So I recently got a collaboration with Lust Minerals, and funnily enough, like meanwhile, like I was pitching myself to other brands, they pitched themselves to me to become like their ambassador influencer. So I'm like,
Yes.
aligned in the stars.
Great.
So I'm really excited to start that with them. But it's just, for me at the moment, it's brand awareness and like growing my brand reach. So I am collaborating with different brands. I want to do that, and also collaborating with different coaches or people who are in like who are like-minded and in this space, to really grow our audiences together.
Yeah.
And like I was saying before, podcast, growing my email list, and just like different channels. So it's like I'm not just relying on
Yeah.
Instagram and TikTok, it's other avenues too.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. It's such an important conversation to have. And I love that we ended here and we were talking about like
Yeah,
personal pleasure a moment ago.
I know. Self pleasure into Instagram.
Hey, it's just the life of, I don't know, us. Um,
Yeah. Multifaceted.
exactly. Multi-passionate. It's a huge theme.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap it up because we have kind of jumped everywhere, but I do actually just want to focus on one more topic. So, based on what we've spoken about, more so on like the feminine, the masculine kind of sides, are there any extra bonus nuggets, tips, anything like that for the woman listening who you think it will really just help elevate her life? Something that she can take, a step that she can take right now. I'm more than like, what are those actionable shifts? Like not, in, a week, 5 years, 10 years, like something she can do right now.
The best thing, or like the biggest thing that's come to my mind, is prioritize your pleasure. Because when you prioritize your pleasure, you will feel way more lit up, way more in yourself, like I've said before, and you just can flow within your day. So I notice a difference on the days within myself where I do not prioritize my pleasure. I just like get up, I'm late for work or something like that. I just need to rush, quickly eat breakfast, have a shower, get out the door. It's like the morning has been in a rush.
Mm.
And I'm not as A plus as what, or optimal, I should say, as what I would be. So when I wake up a little bit earlier, or prioritize my wind down routine the night before, I get enough sleep, I'm feeling good, and I'm starting off the morning with a vibe. I'm starting off with pleasure, and I'm starting off like, cool, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like this life feels so good. And when I'm in that, I'm like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I could be in the grocery store, I could be at a podiatrist appointment, whatever it is. I'm like, cool, I'm in flow. This
Mm.
girl's good. And so that would be my biggest thing. Another thing that I will say, just a little nugget, is to start working in line with your cycle. And what I mean by that, just start listening to your body.
Mm.
So a lot of women, we have different phases of our cycle. We've got our menstrual phase, we've got our follicular phase, which is just after our period, and then our phase right before our period starts. You are different versions of you within those different phases. So honoring that, like right the week before your period, you might not be as lit up, go fire, go energy. That's totally okay. It's listening to what you need. Do you need more rest during that time? And then during those times where you are go energy, what can you do to fuel that more, like fuel that fire even more so?
Working with your cycle fascinates me so, so much. I really want to learn so much more about it. And yeah, like honoring those different things. And I know I've seen from personal experience going against the grain. And, when I am about to get my period and I'm just in such a low, not my vibrant self, but I'm still forcing and I'm still pushing to get things done. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, this isn't helping anybody. Why am I doing this? But now I've just learned to allow more rest, because I know in a week from now, wherever it may be, like I'm going to be an absolute fire of energy and like going at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, honoring
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
thank you so much for coming on the show. You've shared so many so many golden nuggets, so many insights. I want you to shout out, let the audience know where they can find you, your podcast as well, because I mean, I've always said this. I'm like the biggest fan of your Instagram page. I love your content. It's so on point. So yeah, shout out your services, your mentoring, all the things.
Oh, you're a legend. Thank you so much. So you guys can find me on Instagram at Tamra Santucci _ my podcast. I will get the title right now. Get Comfortable Being Uncomfortable. It's available on all podcast like platforms. And if you do want to step more into yourself, own all sides of you, I do have a program called The Woman, which is starting in May. So you can reach out to me for that.
Exciting. And I'll include all those links below in the show notes. But Tamra, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you as always. And I just know the audience will get
Likewise.
so much value from this episode because I've gotten so much as well. And I'll
Thank
cut
you.
that.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
I still have not felt like a good flow to end it, but we'll work with that.
No, that was amazing.
And that's all from me in this episode. Here are 3 ways you can contribute to Start Somewhere. Number 1, leave us a 5-star rating and review on either the Spotify and Apple podcast or both. Screenshot this episode and share it to your Instagram stories, tagging me at Isabelle Prestia. That's ISABELLEPRESTIA. And lastly, copy this episode URL and send it to a friend who you think will find value from our conversation. Thank you for starting somewhere.